Article Manager Options screen contains a lot of different settings that are going to affect a lot of all the content in your website. So let's start with getting there first off. Inside the Article Manager, click on Options, and this is going to bring up the global settings for the Article Manager options. A lot of these settings can be overridden at the content level. That is to say that when we click on a piece of content and we go to it and we're making changes, we can come back and say, okay, article options. Here's a lot of the similar settings that we're about to look at in this main in the main options stuff, where we can show the modified date. So we can edit these global settings right here at the article level and have them show the publish date for this content item specifically, and it won't show it for any other content item on the website if we have it set to hide that data in the options here. So these are global settings for all content pieces on your website. Know that they, however, can be overridden at the content level, so you can customize everything. Another thing to be mindful of is when you start showing all the icons and you start showing hits and things like this, when we hit save, now that those have been shown, here's what it looks like when you publish them. Currently they were hidden, and so now when we hit F5 and refresh, we start to see these icons show up, and the spacing grows between the title of the paragraph, title of the article, and the article itself. Basically a row is inserted to make room for these icons. So if you don't, publishing these in the Article Manager options can actually change the way that your website looks and feels to the end user. So just be mindful of that. Other than that, a lot of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Feel free to come in here and change some of these options yourself and play with them, and then come back and, if you hit save, it's going to leave you in this window, and you can go to your site and hit refresh and see those edits that you made live, and then see if you like them. And if you didn't, then just change them here and hit save again. On the categories, these settings are going to apply to the article categories unless they're changed on the individual category menu settings. So again, we're going to say, hey, you know what, show the title, show the category description, show these things here, choose a layout for your category, and then hit save. And at some point, if we had a menu that we gave a category layout to, that would have affected how that page lays out. So this is where all those edits are made for all the content that's going to render on a home page. Render on a page on your website. This is where you affect the way that it looks and the way that it lays out. So here's the blog and the featured article layouts. Here's the list layouts, the shared options, the integration if you've got any there going on. You can show, read more, choose to show it or not, regarding the feeds. And then here's the permissions. We can give different user groups permission, or actually access, to come into this Article Manager options and actually affect this part of the website. This permissions tab is going to be on 95% of the options for all these components. So for articles, category, featured, media, you're always going to have an options tab, and chances are there's going to be a permissions tab in those options for you to edit those options for that specific component. So this Article Manager option window has a lot of effect on your Joomla site and how it lays out and how it flows. So it's important to understand what affects what when you change something. So my suggestion is to come back here, make some changes, save it, go back to your website, refresh it, see what changed, and contingent upon how your template is laid out. Every template is different, and it's built differently for the most part, and so we can't say when you change this column here it's going to affect this on your site, because the reality is that your template is going to affect that for the most part. So it's important to come back here and kind of tinker a little bit, but this is where you get to structure your website in a way that you want, so it renders the way that you want and it flows the way that you want for your user. So I hope that was helpful.